Welcome back to WCS Montreal, day number 2 here as we are in the midst of the round of 16. And gentlemen, I have had a development happen.
What happened, Colette?
Something happened. So, basically, the way it works now is we have our top 4 for BlizzCon that are completely safe. Safe as houses, good job for them. They've got their ticket, brilliant stuff. 5th through 8th is not safe if somebody outside of the top 8 wins the whole tournament. That's the only way those guys get bumped down. You're welcome. So there you go.
Good job, guys.
That's the development here for WCS Montreal currently. It's still all to play for the members that are not in the top 8 spots. If they win it all, they're able to bump someone out of that top
But that's the
8.
only way. No second places will suffice.
The only way. I'll do it again. The only way.
The only way.
The only way. Delete. Anyway, for now, of course, we have another match coming up here on the main stage. It's going to be Massa going up against Elazer. Massa, a guy that could do that. He could be one of those guys to be able to bump someone out of the top 8. And he's been playing very, very well as of late, Nathanius, as Massa.
Yeah, Masa is, he is one of the players, especially when he plays in Canada. He always plays so much better than almost every other tournament that he plays in.
Yeah.
Last year, he was this year's Elazer. He was the guy that, okay, he's a good Terran player. We know he's good. But he actually showed up last year. He had some really insane performances in WCS. And this year, he hasn't, I mean, it hasn't been quite that hot streak, quite the same, but he's still very good. He's still very dangerous. A lot of players that are at this tournament have been talking about him. Thermal mentioned he had a very difficult time going up against him in groups yesterday.
Yeah.
I think Masa is definitely one of those players that could make the big upset and get that deep run.
Yeah, he's playing well as of late. Obviously, if you compare it with the previous year, it's been disappointing. But as of the last few months, he's definitely stepped up again. Now would be the right time to pick for him and try and put on a good performance. He's one of the only 2 last Terrans left in the tournament. Terrans has been having a little bit of a rough time in some of those WCS events, especially now with special
Did you
outs.
watch GSL last night?
I mean, in the WCS circuits.
Okay. Whatever, foreign Terran.
Elazer and Masa are the last 2 here with special out and Thermal not in the run as well. So it's going to be for him to try and make something happen for the Terrans.
Well, Mal is ready on our stage, so let's head over to him now to introduce our players. James, are you ready?
I am, and that I will. So, I never actually realized how strong Polish players were up until now, because, we've always been branding StarCraft as Korean versus foreigners, and we made it sound like it was outside of Korea as just one melting pot. It made it sound like it, but it seems like today and this weekend and every single stage match, it seems like there's one Polish player in every series, and it's actually, it's very intriguing. I don't really know how to explain it.
They haven't taken over.
Yeah, I guess they are. They must be doing something right, I guess, while I was away. All right, so this next player I'm about to introduce is another representative of Poland. Currently, some may say he's threatening Nurture for the #1 Polish Zerg title. Some may say he's already done it because he's the only person in this season of WCS that won a circuit and is not spelled with N-E-E-N-B. It is Elazer, and to my right is another very own Masa, the brown Korean Canadian. Masa versus Elazer, Elazer versus Masa.
WCS champion in Elazer goes up against Massa now, who carries Canada on his shoulders along with Scarlet, to say the least. And, Canada really has come into its own. We've got so many strong Canadian players. Massa leading the charge for the Terrans in this region. Nathanius.
Masa is one of the scariest guys you could run into in any of these tournaments. We talk about what helps players when they're coming to these events, when they're practicing, when they're preparing. It's Masa's home turf. You don't have to go very far to get here if you're Masa. The rest of these European players had to go a fair distance. And Masa has, if you follow any of those tournaments like Kings of the North, all of that, he's just dominated. There are a lot of very good Canadian players. We talk about Scarlet, Semper, but I like Masa a lot in any tournament that happens in North America, especially.
There's been a lot of games for Elazer against Zergs and against Protoss that he's found a lot of success against. but we don't really see him that much against Terrans, and I think he's been on record saying that his versus Terran isn't exactly his best matchup compared to the other two.
It's supposed to be his worst matchup for a while now. Like we saw some kind of atrocious games last year at BlizzCon against TY. That was just kind of sad. But ever since, I think he's worked very hard on it. Went over to South Korea, trained very hard in the matchup. Still losing a little bit in it, though. I think his last recorded game against Terran was in Ladder Heroes online against Uthermal, and that was 0-3. Masa does have a winning record, actually, against Elazer. He's 2-0 in series and 6-2 in maps. So, I mean, if you would have looked at their WCS rankings, 2 against 19, like, you should think maybe Elazer's the big favorite. But Elazer's been struggling a little bit more as of late, like in, latest few weeks, months. Because after winning Valencia, he actually didn't make it through Challenger here for Montreal. He had to play from group stage 1. He lost quite early, I think, to Guru and somebody else. So he's been having some tougher days, but usually the big tournaments here, when it matters the most, is when we should expect him to deliver some of the best StarCraft that he can play.
It takes a good whetstone to sharpen a knife, and there are not a lot of Terrans for these Zerg players to practice against in Europe.
True.
The guys in North America, especially players like Masa, have much better time doing practice on things like the Korean server, and of course against each other players like Scarlet when they're in North America. So I think that definitely gives him an edge. I like Masa's Terran versus Zerg a lot. He is, I would say, fits in that category of a player like Uthermal, who probably suffers a bit now from the Reaper nerf that happened in the last couple months. I like him in TvZ. I think this is a very good matchup.
Has this bracket worked out quite well for Massa, do you think? I mean, looking at who he would face off next if he does beat Elazer, who admittedly is a WCS champion, so it's a tall order, but it would be Mana or Serral next. If you think back to when Massa was able to take, I think a 3rd, 4th place at Austin, WCS Austin, or DreamHack Austin, a while back, is this worked out as a good bracket for Massa, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. Like, Massa's one of those players that's very good, but you think, like, who would he? I'd be really worried for him to go up against. It would be a player like Neeb, or if he had somebody like Special, who we're not even taking into consideration anymore. But I think he's definitely got the speed to go against Mana, and I think his Terran versus Zerg is good enough that he could beat any Zerg in this tournament.
Todd, which match are you going to be covering while this is going on?
I'm going to be doing Mana Serral. Actually, it's already on the way.
So he's looking at the winner, the next challenger potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, Serral took game 1 against a Mana that was going
already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. that got started quick.
As we were about to go live here to talk about the series, I think they started, and no, it was just like Mana was going double Oracle production into like double Forge and Gateway units, and then I talked to you guys for a few minutes. I looked down, and then Serral was victorious. So
there you go.
I'm not actually sure what happened.
Taking Oracles didn't work that time.
No, what a surprise. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time now for our next series as we head over to our commentary team here at WCS Montreal.
Welcome, everyone. We're getting into a very beautiful TvZ here. We have another hometown hero for Canada versus the reigning WCS champion, Elazer. I am Zombie Grub, now joined with Maynard.
What is up, Zombie Grub? Very, very excited. TvZ is my favorite matchup in the game. Favorite to see, favorite to play, and favorite to cast. So this is going to be a good one. In the bottom right here, from Canada, give it up for Massa! And the top left, another Zerg, hailing from Poland. This is Elazer. Beautiful people out there in the crowd for Montreal. Again, we just can't find anyone to pick on, Zombie Grub, every time we see the crowd.
So difficult. You have to rely on picking on players.
It is, that's right. The slim pickings are scraping the bottom barrel there. There's only 16 of them left, or even less now.
Yeah, there are.
So, Masa, of course, it was touched on a little bit earlier. He had an incredible 2016, 2017, not super great, but then when he hit Challenger lately, he has been looking good, especially in TvZ as well. So he's got to be very excited for this one. Against an Elazer who is already a WCS champion, he's got himself a spot at the table at BlizzCon. And like they also said, his ZVT isn't what carried him there. It was all about the ZVZs and the ZVPs.
Yeah, I think these guys have interesting storylines, both of them, but different ways. Masa had a great 2016. Well, I say good 2016, I suppose. But yeah, high finish at WCS Austin. Wasn't able to really have anything close to that this year, but has been doing really well in those qualifiers. And of course, here today, right now, Elazer had like an okay 2016, and then he got the BlizzCon, and everyone's like, oh God, this guy's super, super good. And now everyone knows that he's been super good for a while, obviously winning the last WCS. So while Masa does have a winning record against the guy, that was last year. Very different years for these two.
Absolutely. And a lot can change in such a short amount of time in StarCraft. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. Really does change the scales here. We've got a Reaper opening here from Masa. He went gas first, so a fast factory gear follow-up as he expands on the low ground on location. A Elazer looking like a pretty standard opening as well. Not a whole lot to talk about these openings. It's going to be just a little few Lings. Going to have his bit of scout, see what's going on the wall of the Terran. And he's getting speed as well. Leaving one drone in the gas, so probably deliberate. See what he wants to do with that.
Well, Masa did have some really nice TvZ games in his run to even get to Montreal, and it was actually, as you would expect from Masa. Masa is one of those guys that's like, I said, like, he had a good year in 2016, but he does dominate a lot of the North American events. It's like, it's like really where he does his best. He's always so solid, but he goes up against the Europeans or the Koreans. It's like, yeah, you're solid, but you can't quite get that next step. So I do like the way that he plays. Like, he has various play styles, heavy drops, aggressive, mech sometimes. Not as much as Ethermal, but Ethermal's actually doing a lot of mech in this tournament, but it's neither here nor there. But Masa, I love watching his style. He's going up against the beast of Elazer. Even if his matchup that he's most well known for is not ZVT, it's still very good.
Yeah, can't take that away from him for sure. Looks like probably a Banshee follow-up here for Masa. He's been throwing those into the mix every now and then. But he could also get a Viking or a medevac before getting the Banshee. And he's actually going to make a tank instead, so never mind. This isn't going to be switcheroo at all.
And there's Abyssal Reef and tank pushes. Well, you usually talk about tank pushes in TvT and TvP, but Abyssal Reef is such a good tank push map that you can see them in TvZ as well. Just how fast Lings are, it's like a little more complicated to get across the map unhindered, as well as get into position without those Lings getting like a surround or a run by or something like that, but it can happen.
Yeah, there are some very abusable spots here on this map, which like a lot of people would say that this is a Terran-favored map against Zerg because of those abusable positions like the back of the natural, like a couple of the cliffs in the middle of the map. The fourth base location can also be abused as well, the high ground one, I mean. But Elazer is, of course, perfectly aware of all these locations, and he will be seeing the tank as shortly as he can. Medevac actually getting loaded up here for Masa. That's a tank with 3 Marines and an SCV. So he might actually drop this in the back of the natural and wall it in with a bunker.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, that's probably what he's going to do here.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Highlighting it. That makes it very tricky. Of course, Lings do much worse, and they can't get those surrounds. A Ling does get in here, maybe just sees the tank, but as the attack is already happening. Yeah,
so he's shown his hand here, and Elazer's going to come down and try and do as much as he can. Of course, picking up that medevac would be pretty huge. And there's that wall off for Masa, trying to get a wall off at least, getting that bunker down. And the siege tank with the medevac will be envisioned of a couple of these patches.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty mild form of harassment. Of course, Zerg also already taking the third base. A lot of times just sends their workers there initially while they're still not, breaking 50 drones, and that's okay. The Reaper actually goes over there for a little bit of his own harassment, too. Go, Reaper.
Go, Reaper, go. Doesn't quite get a drone kill, though. A couple have gone down, but that's to the siege tank here on the right side. Elazer's like, forget this business. Gonna get a big Ling counterattack and see how that natural looks. And it looks very open, Zombie Grub.
That it does. He is building some Hellions, though, to help him against something like that. But are there enough? And is he going to be paying attention? He does bring them over, but it's only 2, and that is so many Lings.
And a couple more about to join these 2 Hellions and double them up in numbers. And the bunker looks like it's going to be broken as well as the tank being picked off here from Masa. So yes, it looks like he will hold, but he did lose that spot, and his natural is still under siege.
A lot of chaos going down here. So far, not devastating SCV kills, but all the surround almost happens. The SCVs have to help out. That's where you rack up a few more. Liberator even helping out with the Lings. 9 total went down of SCVs.
Yeah, it looks like some switching happening on the production facilities as well. Trying to get a third CC to block this off, but not before Elazer gets more Lings into that natural. And Masa needs to get down here with the Hellions and sort them out as quickly as possible. A couple of the Hellions are very low in hit points as well. So you can actually turn around and pick off 1 or 2 of these.
That's exactly what he's doing with just 2 Lings over there. This one last one might get the last hit, barely not, but 16 SCVs now.
Now that's a ton of damage.
Yeah, that's some really, really good damage. Masa does finally have the wall, so Elazer was trying to reinforce with Lings. Can no longer bust in there, but that's a bad start for Masa.
For sure. I mean, he's still got this siege tank here. Looks like the second siege tank came on down with that other medevac. And this Liberator in the main is going to need to get a lot of drone kills here. And it actually looks like it may. Elazer reacting a little bit late to this, going to lose a few on the main. Natural, of course, still taking siege tank damage. So he's trying to get some spine crawlers or something down here to help out against this tank, but or maybe even a spore crawler against the Liberator, but not allowed to happen here because of that siege tank.
Yeah, I mean, Masa did take a lot of damage, but I think this Liberator gets even a couple of drones. It already has, and that's helping, you know? Like, Elazer had to make so many lings to both do that counterattack and clean up the attack on this side of the map, which is still kind of ongoing with this tank being dropped, that he never really got to a very nice worker count. So just with 5 drones killed, that's actually a manageable worker count when you account for mules. And the third CC finishing up. Oh!
Just saves that tank, and in fact, it looks like we're going to see some more tanks as this game goes forward, as Masa is getting double armory back at home and starting multiple factory production as well. So he's going to try and switch into mech here.
Obviously, mech is the new thing to do. It's actually been played around with a lot lately, but I feel like a lot of people are actually going multiple games, you know, best of 5s, 3 out of 5 mech. It's just really coming back, I suppose. So Hellions to start things off, a double armory. Going to start up 1-1 soon. Elazer, I don't believe, has gotten sight on the actual factories, but he's seen a lot of Hellions produced, and that's also a bit of a tell.
Sure is. You don't keep this up. He's also seen not too many barracks either, or any spitting tech labs on those barracks. We see double upgrades here for the mech army, of course, on those double armories. And he is starting to get Thors really quickly as well. So this is actually looking a little bit like the Korean style of mech that we've seen a little bit in GSL. His medevac's getting very, very low. Oh, does escape.
Very close. Yeah, exactly. Gumiho, I think, did a really great job making this look like the best way to play mech. You know, you have your Cyclone, Hellion attack, and that's like okay, but kind of an old thing to do. Now that's looking for some damage here. And then you have, of course, just the turtle mech. You know, trying to get your mech or tanks up, and that's one way to do it as well. Well, Hellbat Thor actually can be aggressive, and Thor drops can be a real pain in the back, and Hellion run-bys can be very effective. Elazer losing a couple of drones here and there, some nice shots.
Yeah, that's a bit of a barbecue. 6 drones going down. Picks off the medevac in the main at least, though. And of course, there is a Hydralisk den here. So Hydralisk actually really, really good against mech when you get to Viper, but until then, they're not so great. Of course, Hellbat Dunks can deal with them. Multiple factories going down to help out to even out the production here of Masa to make sure he spends all that income as he takes and saturates that third base. He's got a nice worker count here as well, but of course, Elazer ahead as you'd expect at this point for Zerg on 64 drones. Big Hellion moves through the middle of the map here. Just looking for another drone line.
Yeah, I mean, despite the earlier kills, like, he got 14 SCVs of those ling run-bys. The fact that he had to make so many lings has obviously put Masa in a perfectly fine position on 3 bases. His counter damage has been pretty neat as well. Hellions, Liberators getting drones here and there. And now we do have the double Thor drop. This can kill buildings. It can kill queens. It can kill drones. It has some trouble against the lings, but that's when you just pick up the medevacs and leave.
That's right. So they have to actually be careful of the Hydralisks here. If the Hydras pick off these medevacs with the creep on the edge of the creep spread, then that is going to be bad news bears for these Thors, which are engaging these queens immediately here. Look at their damage output. One of the queens evaporates. Another one takes 1 shell to the face. Wall of Fierce and Lings aren't going to get in. Of course, there is tanks heading over to the third to reinforce here from Masa. As these Thors continue their reign of terror, it looks like Hellion's also cleaning up some creep, which is actually something to be brought about here. The creep spread of Elazer has really been stifled.
That it has. Maybe just not really a lot of queens to start things off, so only 1 creep tumor per path, and there's a lot of paths on Abyssal Reef. Kind of abusing the ledge here is a nice idea. And target fire the Hydras off, but loses one of the medevacs.
Yeah, and one of the Thors as well, so that's quite a bit of damage output and money going down the drain here for Masa, not getting a ton done with it yet. Oh, this one medevac being chased by the Hydralisks, which do have muscular augments. Oh, God, it's the boost, B, there it is. Oh, picks it off. And that's a lovely pickoff for Elazer. He's going to be feeling much more comfortable now. Doesn't have to worry about the Thor drops for quite a while.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of an important staple of the opener here for Masa, while he's still growing that tank count behind this and continuing on his upgrades. Looks like Blue Flame Hellions are a little bit scared for the Hydras, though, and he's going to be a little bit aggressive. But, you know, those Thors can actually last a super long time, speaking of the Koreans, right? He's like, Thors would be alive, they'd be coming back, they'd be helping the army. They'd be with this push, for instance, which is probably what he was trying to do, having them there so long. But this is a very small army that I don't know if it really should be here.
Yeah, it's a paltry force from Masa, and I feel like if he loses another army for not much gain, then it's actually going to put him in a very, very bad spot in this game, which he's trying to dig himself out of already at this point with Elazer up quite heavily in army supply. Oh man, this one tank seeing this giant force of Zerg, looking like he actually may want to sandwich and splinter him here.
Well, he's going to try and make the best out of it, pick up the tanks, leave with the Hellions, try and get back home, but Elazer starting to max out here. Masa is in danger of being overwhelmed. It's a very difficult time for Mech before 150 supply, and even around 150 supply, it's still a tough hold. So the fact that Masa's army might still get caught, it looks like the tanks are going to survive.
Medevac just escapes these Hydralisks with a couple tanks within. And of course, the wall will be busted by these Banelings. And the Hydras and Lings can circumnavigate. They can go from the north, they can go from the south. They can go both if they want, but they're going to concentrate their forces here on this fourth base, which of course Masa's forced to cancel. Can't hold that. He doesn't have enough.
Does he have enough to hold his third, though? The Hydras get a bit of a concave. There's only 5 tanks, and the Hellions are already down.
Yeah, Liberator coming in, but of course that's not an amazing unit against these Hydralisks. The Hydras are starting to get hurt here, but they do seem to have the numbers. I think Masa might be having to tap out pretty shortly here. This third is down. GG, and Elazer takes game number 1.
It's an odd pace of a game, you know? You had the tank attack kind of throw the Zerg off from droning a lot. Then you had the Ling attack throw Masa's 3rd CC off and his, tempo for his production going into mech. But by far the oddest thing for me was that push with the 2 tanks, and then after the Thors had already died. I mean, even with the Thors, it wouldn't have been very powerful. That's just a push you don't usually see below 150, even, then maybe just waiting till maxed out and upgrades. It was odd.
It looked odd. It felt odd. I'm sure it's the way that the meta's been heading in Korea, and maybe that's going to be the style of TvZ that we're going to see in the future. But I mean, I really love Masa's Bio play, and again, I'm asking for a Terran in a series that we're casting Zombie Grub to switch over to Bio and see how he does. The last time I did that, they just died to a Ling Flood. So we'll see how it goes here. I mean, Masa's multitask, his control, his APM, his E-APM is incredible. And when you are that fast and that good at control, I think that Bio is just so strong. Of course, Ling Bane Hydra sometimes takes Micro out of the equation because it can pretty much engage those armies anyway if they split well, but I still feel like that is just a, something that Maru could definitely do very, very well. I'd love to see him shake it up the series.
I would as well. I didn't catch what the second map was going to be, but that might be something Moss is thinking about. Like, that mech game really didn't go that well. I think if you think about the perfect game that when you're playing that type of mech, you're studying Gumiho's builds, right? Second map's Ascension to Iron. All right. Then that's like, they do the Thor drops, and then they have the nice run into tanks, and then they go with the immediate push around 150, and the Zerg player is still like, what Thors, what Hellions, what is going on? And they do get run over. Like, we've certainly seen that from some of the Korean Terrans, but Elazer didn't really seem phased.
No. Elazer's hero, he said it before, and he will probably say it again if you ask him who it is Dark. So he knows very, very well how the Korean Zergs handle those Korean Terrans. Yeah. And he looked incredibly good in game number 1.
Well, Ascension to Ire being the next map is always a test for Terrans. I wouldn't say any of these maps are like drastically in favor of one race or the other. In fact, it's a map pool that a lot of people like. Kind of sans Catalina, I suppose.
yeah, haven't seen too much Catalina. I'm actually semi-surprised that Mech Depot snuck on in here. It's a bit tough for Terran if those rocks get taken out, but that's it's a little bit awkward. But I suppose a lot of people do prefer it over Catalina, which has just got so many cliffs and. It's so open in the middle as well. It can be pretty bad as well. So it's a pretty standard map pool, things considered.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that Elazer will not ban that one.
Yeah, it's no shock at that.
Yeah, but anyways, Ascension to Ire, you have what actually can be pretty decent pushes from the Terran player mech or Bio, but it is a larger map, and you're gonna actually have some trouble deciding which pathway you want to take. And if you take that pathway, well, then suddenly the left or the right side opens up for the Zerg to counterattack. And obviously, it's very tough to do something with, but besides mech or bio, we also still have the options for Masa of like early aggression, Hellions, Hellbats, Banshee openers, something like that. Last game, it was a tank push that is really quite odd tempo-wise for a Terran. They put a lot of minerals and gas into the tanks that are usually not able to move around a lot.
Those inspirational figures for StarCraft 2 look like some of your favorite boys in StarCraft there, Zombie Grub. Boxer and Nada giving the inspiration to pick Terran and become a good player.
I never really was a fan of Nada. I was like pure SKT.
I was a fan of Nada when he wasn't wearing a shirt. But
okay.
yeah, of course, Boxer, the Emperor himself, is the creative, the most amazing, some of the most amazing and memorable games in Brood War history.
We're gonna talk about tank pushes and like tank drops and
That's
tank
right.
micro. Like, that guy.
It's the guy.
That's the guy to talk about.
Yeah, so we got game number 2 coming up shortly here. Of course, Masa down 1 against Elazer, who actually looked extremely dominant. Like, I didn't actually see a point in that game where Masa was ahead or, you know, sort of looked dangerous for Elazer. This guy probably disagrees with me, judging by the expression on his face, but I don't care. I'm going to continue.
Oh, Maynard, that guy. Oh, my God.
I'm going to continue with my point here, just assuming that I'm correct because I have the microphone and he doesn't. Game number 2 on Session this is one of those maps, you know, we bring it up every time we see a TvZ on it, that it does have that big open middle. It has those attack paths. You have the choice of a third, which does open up attack paths for Zerg, but also for Terran. And this is a map that I feel can be a little bit weaker for drop play because the natural's a little bit tough to get into. The main can be nice if you can get on the left side of it, depending on, I guess, right, depending on where you spawn on the map. But the natural and the third are a little tough to drop because of the sort of like the dead airspace isn't really there.
Right, triangle shape that is ideal for third
Exactly,
expansions.
yeah. So like you know, like Acolyte, very, very easy to do that. You know, a couple other maps, but this one not so much. So we might be seeing that. I would actually kind of call it seeing like that weird sort of cyclone push that we see on this map from time to time from Terrans.
Yeah.
But you know, I still am crossing my heart and hoping to die here for some bio from Masa. I guess his name is Mario.
Well, you weren't wrong.
But he, you know, he's so good at it. I just really want to see it, and we are in the game, guys. So delays have been sorted out, and let's get into it. In the top left here from Canada, give it up for Masa. And in the bottom right, winning game number 1, this is the Polish Zerg, Elazer! A WCS champion. Finally, someone that wasn't Neve did it. It was this man in the bottom right here on the map.
Although it was still pretty close. Like, Neve almost.
It was, yeah.
Again, so
Yeah. God, Neve's good. Damn.
That he is. And of course, we'll see him later on, I suppose. But, you know, I do want to focus a little bit more on the early side of things. Like, you know, maybe it's one style or the other for both players. Well, I imagine Elazer really sticks on Ling Bane, Ling Hydra. Acolyte still has Muta play, just because, you know, that hanging natural is really complicated for that. But Ling Bane, Ling Hydra is definitely a staple. You can continue to go with every single game. It's Masa that, like, I think is really about the openers here. Like, will Banshees be able to throw off Elazer? Probably not. They haven't been able to throw off Zergs in a very long time. How about openers? That still can, surprisingly. I keep like, well, they have these Hellions, and you should be kind of aware of that. And they're like, I'm going to drone a little bit more. And I'm like, that's a dangerous move. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're very wrong.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of Hellbat Banshee from Terrans just to catch the Zerg. But if the Zerg's ready for it, it goes very badly. Like, they kind of just surround or Baneling connect with the Hellbats or even just overwhelm them with Queen numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
And just deal with the Banshees otherwise.
Queens, really good early game defense.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. But that was what was missing, I think, from last game. So again, like the trades that happened were really wonky, and they can end up being an okay TvZ drone SCV thing, but it was still a bit of a wonky game. But the early tank push, it could have lasted longer. It could have really tripped the Zerg player up. It didn't so much. The point is, it is kind of like set and go, whereas Hellions are a little more fluid, Banshees can be a little more fluid, even Liberator Harassment could be a little more fluid. You're actually around the map, still controlling the map, where the tanks are really like, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to maybe do damage, and oh, you counterattacked me, that's too bad.
Ripperino. Yeah, speaking of a Reaperino, we have one heading up towards the third base location to see if Elazer takes it nice and early, which he does. So confirming that third is nice from Masa means he's probably safe back at home. He's not going to be looking for, like, you know, that early Ling Flood, which has taken out Euthermal earlier in the tournament yesterday. Just coming in natural, seeing that regular Ling count here. Just doing the dance. Elazer trying his best not to pay the Reaper tax here. He does a good job.
It's usually one Ling apiece.
Yeah, pays nothing.
Like a hay penny,
Yeah, well, Masa might come to collect a little bit later here as he starts to switch things over. The factory, of course, going to start building Hellions very, very soon. Gas first build again from Masa, by the way. So same opening as on Abyssal Reef. Elazer, pretty similar opening as well. Fast third. Droning it up. I haven't seen like the heavy Queen style here. Oh, now this is interesting.
Oh, I saw that second, like the number 2 on the starport, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. That's going to be very interesting. Masa, I mean, man, he's been in the scene for so long. I remember casting him, and like the way that he would play a best of was very, very smart, but it was still like oh, you're so solid, you're so good, you're so smart. You know how to take advantages of what they're expecting, but not able to really push above. This reminds me of that. You know, it's not a quick third CC, but it's double starport.
Yeah, this is not something that Elazer would be facing every day, to say the least. He's coming up here, looking for that main, of course. The door is closed. He sees a single starport with the tech lab on it. And he is making a Liberator of the first one, getting double tech lab by the looks of things in their starports. Oh, baby, this is going to get weird.
I'm pretty excited to see what comes out of this. Elazer, I don't believe, scouted last game. I think we noted that he didn't see the extra factories. He was able to tell his mech other ways, didn't really bother scouting, and might not do it here either. I don't think that was just because the game was a little, like, you know, wonky with the Ling run by. I think it was just thought he didn't need it, and that's going to maybe bite him in the butt here. 2 starports.
Yeah, that's it. Still just producing the single Liberator, concentrating here on this attack with the Hellions, doing a good job against the Lings. The Queens had to come down here. The natural drone line's actually in a fair bit of trouble. He's going for the main. Instead of chasing these other drones, actually breaks, slides the Reaper on him, but the Hellions are going to get taken out. I feel like if he chased those drones towards the third, it would have been like pretty amazing, but
yeah,
does not get as many drones as expected here, and he is going double Banshee. Are we going to see some Banshee speed as well? God, I hope so.
I don't think he got a fusion core yet.
Not just yet. It'd be so good though. He's got his double tech labs. He's getting cloak. There.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they changed that. Anyways, it is going to be that Banshee speed, not cloak first. So this is going to be such a pain. Like, when you have 200 Hydras, well, I suppose you can just split them up and, like, not be too big of a deal. But this early game, actually catching them with Overseers is the really big problem when they have that speed, and also just the fact that it's just not going to be expected. Like, 1, 2 Banshees, sure. 4 Banshees suddenly out of nowhere, Elazer could seriously lose the hatchery.
Yeah. With a lot of my Terran friends, we're sort of trying to come up with a name for the Speed Banshee, like a Maserati She or a Ferrari She or something like that. But oh man, this is actually a much bigger deal here. Ball goes down, Lings come on in. There is a couple of Hellions with SCVs on the repair. Will it be enough though?
So I don't know if what the SCVs are repairing. I think what the Hellions kiting, but Single Marine was also helping. That was a bit awkward. Masa realized his wall was going down, but pulled to repair only one of them. Luckily, there weren't enough Hellion or Lings to really make that a panic situation, and there was even some counter damage done here.
It's a ton of damage though. Getting 8 SCVs is very, very nice. Certainly delays the third base income of Masa, which of course he's not got in production right now. He's just massing Banshees, making a bunch of Hellions as well. I haven't seen an armory, so it's just Hellion Banshee with speed. What?
Yeah. Well, someone's taking advantage of the... Man, when did they make that change, actually? It must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, it must be
someone who doesn't go
patches.
2-port speed Banshees a lot. Yeah, this is going to be a really big surprise. Because it's really key about them breaking through that wall. I think that there was a panic when it was like, Masa was like, oh, they should push the Banshees back. But he never got into the main base. He never saw the Banshees collecting in the natural. And this is still going to be a big surprise for Elazer. He will have a lair. He will have Overseers. But as I said, they actually outrun Overseers. So even though the Hydras can chase them on creep, they'll fall behind with their detection. Quite
true. Unitized Carapace finishing for these fast Overlords and make the Overseers a fair bit faster as well. And then it's time. He's decided to drop the Banshee Hammer. Hyperlight Rotors about to finish here. 5 seconds off. Elazer, oh, if he's paying attention, would have just seen them with his Lings.
Yeah.
And I think he just controlled them, so he did see them as well. Spore Crawler's going down as a response, so absolutely saw those Banshees.
Yeah, he's seen enough of those Banshees, and a little bit later, too. And you know what's going to happen. We're going to try and build maybe a few more Queens, because Hydralisk Den is only just begun. Just depending on Spore Crawlers right now, they will be able to, they always find that one spot you don't have the Spore Crawler. You wish you had a dozen Queens or a dozen Hydralisks. Still dangerous, even though he scouted it.
And there's going to be a ground mech follow-up here for Masa. Here come the Banshees. They have their speed. They are zooming on into this natural. Has a Spore Crawler. They do have Cloak, but there's an Overseer, and one Banshee gets picked off immediately here from Elazer. That kind of already takes a lot of the sting out of this army here of Masa.
Yeah, that's too bad. The timing on that Spore Crawler is also really close. If he had not pulled back like he did in the middle of the map, he probably would have been able to snipe that before it finished. But, of course, Overseer was still being made. A couple drones are going to go down. The thing about the Banshees is that, well, they might not be the impactful initial 4 like I was talking about that could kill a hatchery. They still should live for a very long time and allow him to, a bit more safe, get to mech.
I wonder how long those SCVs were just idle in the main as well. He pulled them off because there was an Overlord drop. He thought maybe it was Banelings or something like that. Of course, Elazer saved the drop to the natural, but those SCVs in the main looked like they were idle for quite a while there. Would have definitely hurt Masa a fair bit. It's, you know, we can see the natural end main is, of course, very, very saturated. The third, not quite as much. And he's just taking the middle of the map here. Elazer just chilling, getting that creep spread, getting the Hydra count up to a pretty scary number. 11 on the way with already 4 or 5 in on the field here.
Banshee's always going to be looking for opportunities. Even if they're dragging the army the way, they're also scouting the army. How big is it getting? Where is the army? Do I have to prepare for an attack very soon? And if he can successfully keep Elazer back, worried about those Banshees long enough, then he can get to not quite breakable mech, but the strong mech that's going to cover 3 bases so you can slowly get to the 4th. The usual mech game we see, that one that starts off with Banshees usually, but similar.
Speed Overlord coming in here for Elazer. It does have drop capabilities, so it's freaking Masa out a little bit. But of course, we know with our caster God Cam that we see that it is actually just a scout here, and he sees that there is mech following up here for Elazer, and he sees that there's double armory spinning in the natural as well, so he's going to have to gear up for it. He already honestly has the tech that he needs to be able to deal with mech. He has Hydralisk already, he has Bailey Nest, he's getting a lot of lings. He's looking pretty good. I like Elazer's position quite a bit. Masa does have a ton of SCVs.
That he does. Like, if he can get to 4 bases, which he's trying to get one on location now, he'd be good to go, but loses another Banshee there, trying to take on the Queens. Just way too many of them protecting each other.
Elazer denying a 4th base expansion as well. Masa looks like he's closed the wall off here. And a pick up from Elazer going for the main base while the Link's trying to run into the natural, and the door is open again. In they go. Ugh.
It's a handful here and there, but it's really just setting up for this main push down the middle. Banshees will not be able to help with this. The tanks and Hellions are locked in the natural. The Hellbots on the front here need to run away. So does the command center.
And these Lings drop trickling into the main and doing a lot of damage. The 3rd CC is going to die here.
Okay.
Oh man, in come the Bentleys as well. No speed, but who needs it? Bam, 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 and there it goes. GG, Elazer, 2-0 already on match point.
Also just unable to get to that strong initial stage, to get to the strong mid-game that is mech. Always tripped up a little bit too much, and then Elazer just is like, well, I did a macro game, and it was pretty well, and then I just kind of pushed, and I won.
These games have looked so convincing for Elazer. He gets me a little bit worried. I mean, I want a 5-game series. Honestly, I want them all to go 5 games. I want as much StarCraft as possible. But especially on stage here, Masa is the hometown hero. He's going to want to get himself at least a map here. I don't know if he can, though. Elazer's looking so good in these games.
Yeah. And I don't really want to be like, well, Masa just clearly shouldn't play mech. Like, what's going on here? But it is kind of a question of like, well, that didn't really work out. So, well, what do the people on the desk have to say? Let us know your thoughts, guys.
We will let you know our thoughts, indeed, because that looked very convincing here for Elazer so far. I had my little, skepticisms about how he was going to be able to approach Terran here on the stage, but apparently I didn't need to. Apparently he's just bopping him.
Yeah, a couple of unfortunate things happening there in that series for him. That bust, the Lings getting inside, past the wall with those Hellions in game 1 was catastrophic for him. He had a solid attack on the other side of the map, but when you get pushed back like that, obviously you can't reinforce it, and things just fall apart. Kalaris, game number 2, I was, the Banshee played. Interesting the way he committed to that, because the Liberator first, like, go straight to the Banshee as fast as possible. That's what I like to see. He basically did Innovations builds, if you guys didn't catch GSL last
Against
night.
Dark.
Yeah.
Right. Todd, you were covering, which match were you
Mana
covering?
against Serral.
There you go.
You know, actually, in the upper part of the brackets, North America was very strong. They got 3 players out of 4. It's just Nurture that's sneaking in there. But I knew that in the bottom part of the bracket, Europe was going to strike back. Obviously, like Mana against Serral's Europe against Europe, but Elazer's doing pretty well against Masa. So let's take a look here. We've got game 2.
How many Oracles is that?
That is 13 with 5 about to come out of those 5 Stargates.
Or was this game 3? You said game 2?
No, this is this is actually game 2, yes.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert, it was a 3-0, so.
There you go.
So Serral did something fantastic here. He synergized Hydralisk with Lurkers to deal with the ground and added Spores to it. Kited his way back against the Oracles. Make sure he nullified the Zealots, because usually what makes the Oracles so strong against this many Hydralisk is that there is charge loss on the ground.
Yeah.
But now they can't do anything against Lurkers, because every time they come in, Serral pulls back. And Oracles, they don't actually kill Lurkers that fast. Like, they would also have to spend a lot of energy on them. Having the Spores there as well, like, I mean, we're at minute 11 right now. It's very realistic for the Zerg to have his creeps so far across the map. So he's just going to be able to take out that base, and then that one, and then you have a Protoss on 3 bases against Zerg on 5 that can easily take a 6. So from there, Mana kind of did the right thing. He counter-attacked with Zealots a little bit everywhere, tried to bring the Lurkers back out of position, but Serral never fell under the pressure. Took a second game win. Actually, no, that was game 3. Game 2 was the proxy. That's why I forgot about it. So yeah, Mana actually in game 2 tried to proxy, and it failed horribly. Double gateway with the Forge and cannons, and Serral just takes the 3-0 win and is waiting for the winner of our other match.
It's nice to know Oracles can't solve every problem in the game.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that, Mr. Terran. So, quick thoughts, Nathanius, before we go into this next game. How does Massa recover in this position?
Massa wants to play like Innovation. If he wants to use his builds, he has to focus on the same goals, okay? The strength strength of the strategy that he just busted out is that the Zerg player is never supposed to feel like they can cross the map. Those Banshees have to keep them at home. You have to make that follow-up, that transition as quickly as you possibly can. You have no advantage in terms of high ground or choke points when you take that third base on that map. So that wide open space for the Hydras to spread out and kill him. The fact that he brought all of his siege tanks back to deal with the Lings, like, so he just needs to execute better.
No giving up on mech yet?
I don't think it's bad. It's very good. It's very strong. We see everybody using it for a reason.
Okay, yeah.
He just has to execute better.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys, as we now head over to our next game here. Massa needs to make the recovery in his home country of Canada, going up against Elazer.
Some great insight coming in from Nathanius, talking about yesterday's GSL games, innovations, nice mech games there. And I absolutely agree. I think Masa is coming down to execution. Maybe he has the idea in his mind, but then it's not actually getting shown in the games. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And going into Interloper, will he be doing mech again?
It's not a bad map for it, to be honest. We saw Special yesterday nearly win against a very high supply, army supply of Zerg using mech because of how efficient these choke points can be. Before we get into it too much, let's introduce the players. Against the ropes here in the top left, send him your energy if you want to see this one turn into a series. It is Masa! Thank you, Montreal. And in the bottom right, on match point, this is Elazer! So Nathanius was saying that the innovation builds are there, but not the innovation execution. Unfortunately, get good is tough feedback to sort of do in Game 3, an elimination match here against Elazer.
His coach comes up and he rubs his shoulders and he's like, man, I just don't know what to do. And his coach looks at him and says, get good.
Get good, kid. Well, Masa's going to have to just go Super Saiyan here in Game 3 and just really, get in the zone, get into that... get into the flow of things, get all Matrix, there is no spoon. Happens sometimes when you get super focused.
It does, actually, but I think it does happen a lot more to bio players. Like, going Super Saiyan, what does that mean for mech? You position your tanks
unsiege
better?
and re-siege your tanks better.
Yeah, but when you go Super Saiyan as a bio player, you're dropping everywhere, you're continuing to macro perfectly back at home, you have the aggression on multiple fronts, and that's what Masa had some really great games with, so I would love to see bio. Of course, Interloper, a bit of a smaller map, has a lot of chokes. It's tempting maybe to go for mech again, but I also just go with like Marine Tank.
Yeah.
Marine Tank push would be really good.
Marine Tank is very, very good, but again, I'm kind of feeling like it because Masa seems pretty adamant at it that this is going to be a good map for mech, and I think he might do it again. He is going gas first again, of course, for Fast Factory and Fast Expand. Factory about to be dropped here on top of that barracks, and a Reaper to start things off with for Masa for scouting. And we're going to have to see, I mean, this is if it ain't broke, don't fix the situation for Elazer. He's just gone about his regular fast 3 hatcheries, into Lingbane Hydra, and really not had to break too much of a sweat. He's been doing a great job Game 1, Game 2 again on Ascension to IO. So no doubt, well, I mean, not no doubt, but very likely that we see the same thing again.
Yeah, there's really no reason for him to try anything risky like a Lingbane, like All-In, or Roach Ravager, early attack, and I don't know. I mean, he certainly can do it. But it's just, do I have to? Like, do I have to try and risk that game? Because Masa is pretty good at defense. He would be able to scout. He's going Reaper every single time. And he would be able to hold against anything like that. So just staying true, taking the defense until the macro game really works out for him and pushing forward.
That's right. He's spreading out those overlords. Look, it's going to be in nice positions to check out those drops for Liberators, anything like that. Sending out the Ling around the outside to avoid the Reaper, get up into the natural without getting picked off. And of course, regular Zerg things happening back at home. Again, Elazer just keeping the one drone in that gas geyser so he can get to the gas count that he needs for Lair or for whatever else he needs to react to the Terran. And this looks like this time it might be Banshee again, but a bit more of a sensible Banshee transition. We got the tech lab there. It could actually be Raven as well. Raven is something that they do from time to time.
I feel like that's becoming a lot more popular. It was like really great idea on Abyssal Reef. I loved it, and they added in every single map possible. It's going to be a Widow Mine drop.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Elazer would have come up here and seen a little bit and maybe made calls based on what he's seeing and based on meta and that sort of thing. You don't really see Widow Mine openings in TvZ too often. They do happen, of course. I mean, everything happens. But this is not super meta here from Masa, so we'll see how that goes. Might catch Elazer by surprise, and honestly, things like that, I think are going to be Masa's ticket to getting a map on the board.
Yeah, I think one wouldn't mind Marine drop has been getting more popular. Again, like definitely not what people usually do, but it's getting more popular in this matchup. But he's going for the double, just wouldn't mind drop into the natural base, looking specifically for drones. We actually saw a special yesterday, a series we were casting, go for the Would Mine Marine push into mech, actually trying to catch his opponent off guard. Didn't really work out here, but this could grab a few drones.
Certainly can, and considering that Masa hasn't dropped that barracks and that tech lab that's just been sitting there doing nothing, assuming, yeah, there's another factory, so it's going to be mech again. Otherwise, he'd be no point for that barracks not be getting stim right now. And there's that Widowmine drop into the natural at the front. The Lings are on board. They get one of the Widowmines picked off. The second one does burrow. Gets one drone.
I was able to get out of there, so maybe they'll come back later or just drop it in someplace random. I mean, the Widow's really low, so it'd be dangerous to continue on. Elazer got a Roach Warren already, which I believe was scouted by that drop since it was in the natural. Yes,
yeah,
it
would have, yeah. And Evo Chamber on the way as well, and big Roach count getting up here for Elazer. So, you know, he's basically saying, yep, mech's coming. I'm gonna just deal with it by getting Roaches on the ground. They're very beefy. They used to be the answer for mech before Hydralis sort of came into play. Breaking off a couple Lings there, taking very minimal damage from this Widowmine. It does still live for now.
He might be going really old school.
Yeah.
I mean, drops of Roaches. I remember it used to be so good to do on top of the mech army in Wings of Liberty, and then Heart of Swarm, would you use Hellbats? Someone tried it, and I was like, oh, Hellbat's pretty good. But no, like going for some harassment, and necessarily going for the drops of the Roaches on tanks, just entering into that main base. This is something that Masa most likely is not expecting.
This is a very low drone count as well, so Elazer is going to change things up. He is going to go for a big early attack here. Hellions of Masa coming in for drone kills, getting a few, but it's going to be all about can he live against this Roach Ravager Ling bust.
The Queens like might not even be necessary here. They would definitely take out Banshees if they were on production or Ravens, but he never really went for anything from that starport. So the Liberator now on the way. They're on top of the ramp, making sure the supply depots will not be able to lift, and the Roaches and Ravagers have broken through the natural.
They certainly have, and this is already looking real bad for Marcy. He just doesn't have units. He has one siege tank in the main, but the natural has already taken critical damage. These production facilities all at the front here in bile range. Queen's being dropped on this siege tank, and down it goes. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's on top. He's literally right on top of the production. Anything that's going to pop out from here is going to die instantly, including the Liberator. GG.
And Masa gets bodied on stage here. Elazer taking an extremely convincing 3-0 against the Canadian Terran. There's been so much hype around Masa. A bit of a disappointing series, I'm sure. He's crushed on stage. He doesn't feel good about it at all. The poor guy, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Elazer is too good to make you look like you are great at StarCraft 2 if you're down 0-3 against him.
That is true. Masa, I don't know, maybe just not feeling his bio that he got. I feel like he really got here based off of, there was some really great bio play, but wanted to go all mech, maybe really influenced by yesterday's GSL. I'm not sure.
And not sure indeed. So Masa goes down, Elazer continues. Let's go for an interview on stage with Mal and Elazer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations in your victory. That was a very clean one, despite us all Canadian fans rooting for the other one. What went right for you?
What went right for me? I think he just, he shouldn't...
Everything, right? Everything.
No, actually not everything, because I think I'm playing pretty badly right now. Like, I'm quite off shape. So I don't know. Like, I think his strategy picks were pretty bad. Like, he went mech 3 times, and his openings were kind of off. Because for example, the first game, it was this tank drop. Like, I knew this strategy, and it just doesn't work. So, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, maybe that was why. Because you seemed, despite the clean victories and everything, well, what the score at least says, you didn't seem to have any reactions. You seem like you were just kind of stale and just calm. Are you trying to contain your emotions, or were you just not impressed?
I'd rather not impressed. Like, I was kind of expecting this result, so, you know, if I beat Serral next round, I will be happy for sure. Then I will be happy, yeah.
Yeah, then there will be the smile. All right, lastly, because I'm very curious coming into this weekend, what is Poland doing right?
Not sure. Maybe the money is pretty good for Polish people, so yeah, I try a bit harder.
Okay, thank you very much for the interview. Congratulations in your advancement and best of luck.
Elazer with a confident 3-0 there in the round of 16, marches on to the round of 8, where he rightly said he will be playing against Cyril, as he took a 3-0 as well. And Nathanius, in that game number 3, I looked down at my phone, looked back up, and it was all over. What on earth just happened?
You know, as some Terran winners like to say, when you're losing a Zerg, how do you beat Mech? You just make Ravagers, Caleres. That's it, and that's what he did. He just slam dunked on his face. Hellions aren't going to defend you early enough against builds like that.
Oh, very well done there by Elazer, asserting his dominance here in the round of 16, Todd.
Yeah, Europe's coming back strong, I'm telling you. And I feel like Elazer against Cyril, that's such a sick match, by the way, that very easily could have happened in the semifinals or even grand finals had the bracket gone differently. But I'm so happy to see so many fans' favorites, but also some people, like some new age players, you know, like Elazer, like Cyril, just kind of really delivering performance after performance and kind of rising on top of the scene right now in the circuits.
Yeah, Elazer versus Cyril is something that we didn't get to see at Valencia, I don't believe, especially not in the last bracket, and we didn't get to see it in EU Challenger.
Yeah, because Elazer actually, he dodged Cyril, so to speak, because Cyril lost one round before, which played right in Elazer's favor, who usually lost to Cyril, and now he went on to win the whole thing.
Yeah, very good for him.
These Zerg players are pretty damn scary. Masa, I had pretty high hopes from coming into this tournament. He got smacked around.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really seen him play a lot of mech play. I don't know what exactly he's been doing outside of this.
Okay.
But trying to take a couple fancy builds from a player that is way, way out of his league.
So 6 players already through, 5 Zergs, 1 Protoss. What's going on with Terran, Nathanias?
I mean, you could have asked me this question at every single tournament for the last couple of years, man. Foreign Terran, it's like, what? Okay, yeah. What's the deal with airline food?
Is Elazer going to make it?
I love Diego. I don't.
So no, never mind. Moving on in here, that is
He's
the bracket.
such a good friend of mine, you know. Why go into detail?
That is the bracket as it stands currently. We have 6 of our players on through, 5 of which already reside in the top 8 at the moment. So they're fighting for seeding positions at the moment when it comes to points. Scarlet obviously wants to be able to win it all to try and find her spot at BlizzCon. Our next match, of course, is going to be Showtime going up against Elazer. Showtime, another of the players that is looking to win it all to try and find himself a spot at BlizzCon. And for Elazer, he's been so stable and consistent throughout this entire year, but this is a Showtime on fire.
It's been a great year for Elazer. I think the story for this next match is going to be Elazer continues his very strong consistency this year. Showtime is trying to get it back for this year. And I mean, for Elazer, winning this is nice for him. He's not in the same, like, dangerous, like, oh my goodness, this is really terrible position because he's been playing so well all year long. But for Showtime, like, it's got to be uncomfortable because this isn't Elazer from last year or 2 years ago. This isn't like, oh, this guy's good, but he shows up and loses. It's like, no, Elazer is like, he's banging out those top 8s, those top 4s.
Elazer actually beat Showtime twice. I think he was in Yon Shopping. And Showtime is, I think he wants his revenge. I met him this morning in the lobby or on the elevator. He was like, it's revenge time. Those Medivacs counter-attacking every time I move out of my base. It's time to shut those down and take this win here. So very motivated Showtime here that I saw this morning.
I like it. And of course, if you're motivated out there as well, you can get StarCraft on sale right here, right now, as it will be on sale from now until the 18th of September. So make sure to pick that up. Get involved in the campaign, get involved in the multiplayer. It's a whole good fun time.
Dahaka.
Dahaka, that's right.
The story of the weekend outside the tournament is Dahaka.
Burning things. I was so surprised when he had fire breath. Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen, as we now go to a short break. When we're back, we have another round of 16 match here from WCS Montreal. It's Showtime going up against Elazer.